Today we're looking at the best off-roaders that will last you a lifetime. I'm talking, if you turn 100, these cars will still be running in your driveway, taking you on multiple adventures. Let's say, again, now these are on kind of all sides of the spectrum. There are some really cheap, there are some really, really, really expensive, right? Just keep in mind, there are some cars in here that are not included for the sake of keeping this video short. Just think that anything made by Honda or Toyota, include that too, right? Because the Passport, I wasn't able to include that, hasn't been around for that long. So let's get started. The first car on this list is the base Toyota RAV4 from 2012 with the V6. Now, I know that, this one's not in great condition. You've got some surface rust there. The sheen is, coming off the wheels. But other than that, four-wheel drive V6, a three-row SUV. This is a three-row V6 SUV that can climb up hills all day. All day. These cars are so reliable. They're like a Toyota Camry, right? When Toyota first came out with the Toyota when Toyota first came out with the RAV4, they really wanted it to be reliable. So they used a lot of Camry and Corolla parts, right? Now, a lot of times Toyota uses Camry and Corolla parts just because parts bin cars, why not? But no, they actually used them on this car specifically to make sure and ensure that it would be reliable. They're great cars. They're fantastic cars. If you get one of these, like I said, this is one of those down and dirty cars, They may not be the prettiest. They may not, look the nicest. But at the end of the day, if you ever need to drive them seriously or use them seriously, they will always be there for you. This V6 engine is amazingly reliable. I've seen like two people that have ever had issues with these, the 3.5 liter V6 gas V engine. It's a very weird description. That's what I don't like about, these like cars.com where you can input your own engine. Sometimes it's like really in depth, like the, displacement on that crap, and other times it's 3.5 liter V6 gas V6. Gas V. So yeah, not bad. Very interesting car. These will last forever. This is probably one of the most reliable cars on this list, right? The next car is the Subaru Forester. Now, the newer Subaru Foresters, they suck. They suck real bad. They have issues. They have almost as many issues as a new Toyota Tundra and or Tacoma, right? But these older ones are bulletproof. Now, this is a 2012. The 1990s ones, you're guaranteed. You're set for life. These 2012 ones are slightly less reliable, but they look nicer, and, if the car's already lived a lifetime, then it ain't gonna last that long, right, once you finally get your hands on it. Like I said, these cars are just beautiful. I love these wheels. They're so straightforward and nice looking with some extra details on there. The rest of the entire car has some pretty nice features like this solid plate glass roof, which will leak. There's no way getting around it. If you ever see a sunroof or a moonroof, it will leak. I can't tell you anything different. It will 100% leak. Other than that, the rest of the car is simple, down and dirty, great car. You need to go off-roading, just hit the gas and go forward, right? Subaru, boxer engine, excellent car. They last, seriously, I've had some friends, like one of my friends in high school, Jason, he bought one of these and he drives it around today. Thanksgiving, Christmas is coming up. I'm sure when he pulls up, because I haven't seen him in a very long time, because I've been, screwing around in Florida for the past 3 years. But when he pulls up, I'm sure he's still going to be driving the same goddamn car. He bought it in high school and from what I can tell, he's still driving it. It's also got heated seats and Bluetooth. This car has Bluetooth, which is just nice to see on a car of this age. Now, I would replace the head stereo unit. You got lucky, because this is a 2012, which means it has the newer Subaru system. But I would still replace it, because it still kind of sucks. Anyway, the next car on this list is the Honda CR-V. Any CR-V, older than 2018 or so, is going to be great. These ones are bulletproof. Not only are they bigger, bigger is sometimes better, but not always, right? So a lighter, this is the chunkiness scale. You got really bony, thin, skinny car. You got kind of chunkier, but still, can get up rocks. And then you've got this, which is essentially a family car, but they still have all-wheel drive. They're great cars, They've got the same steering wheel as our Odyssey did. Again, leather seats, that nice, cushy Honda leather. I don't know what it is about Honda leather, but it ages like fine wine. Steering wheel there, driver information display, right? Honda is really good. Sometimes at reliability, usually at reliability, but what they're really good at is optioning their cars for stuff that you actually need, right? Instead of doing what, like, the other flasher, like Ford would do and add, like, a Bluetooth kit or some crap that they think would entice people when it's actually a shit feature, they had something that was cheap for them to introduce, but they know that you'll enjoy it and worth paying the extra $12 that adds onto the price tag for that feature. Like these digital displays. They were great. They told you when doors were open, which is really handy if the lights come on. Like, in my, when I was driving our RAV4, it didn't have one of those. Like, you don't understand how nice that is to see which doors are open until you actually have, a car that doesn't have it from going to a car that does have it. And you're like, wow, because our Odyssey had one of those, and when I bought my first Prius, it didn't. And one of the doors would be open, someone didn't close the door correctly, and all of us would have to open the doors and slam them shut again. It's not a huge inconvenience, but it is nice, right? Again, if you're trying to pull off in the morning and you don't want to walk around the car and do the little, magic doors thing, it's so much easier just to have a display that tells you what you need. These are around $10,000, right? They're going to get gradually more expensive. The Honda Pilot. The Honda Pilot is one of the most reliable Hondas ever. Now, as you know, I don't like this generation because, I praise and say that the looks of cars don't matter, right? That I don't care about the looks of a car. I want it to be reliable, and that's what I care about, right? That's what this entire channel is about. And yet, my personal hubris, my pride can't stop me from hating this. I don't know what it is about this car. It's super reliable. It would last me forever if I bought one of these. But I don't like this. I don't like the interior. I'm sorry. I will admit it. There are cars that even I don't like, that they are fantastic cars, right? I just think that this, small screen, small display with big, big, big vents, I think that's hideous. But other than that, the rest of the car is amazing. You buy one of these, it will last you forever. Now, Honda and Toyota, this is the really difficult things, back then at least, about buying one of their vehicles. They were more known for, Kia, smaller rice burner cars. So when they came out with bigger cars, think the Kia Barrigo, they didn't really succeed. Now, Toyota and Honda have kind of been an exception, but you can see Subaru's tried multiple times with the Tribeca and things. They weren't able to succeed, but Honda and Toyota were. So yeah, if you can find one of these that's affordable, that's great. I mean, seriously, this is an actual off-roader. The tape and the key. Yeah. Oh, it's great. If you don't know, these keys are made out of this plastic, the plastic that turns shiny over time, and it just starts to wear down and fall apart. So our Odyssey had the same issue. We went through 3 different keys, not because they were bad, but just because they would fall apart. They would start to split open, that would show the battery compartment. Just not great key design. But again, for us, our car was made in 2007. It lasted a million bajillion years, right? So it was decently fine, right? We only had to replace it up until the very end. Twice. 2010 Honda Pilot EXL, not bad at all, around $10,000. The XC90, Volvo makes the best of the best, and they make the worst of the worst. Volvo is familiar with making the V50, a car so reliable that I could jump on it, I could hit it with a sledgehammer, and that damn thing, with its weirdo V5 engine, would keep chugging along, right? They make the best of the best. And then they make the XC60, a car that can't even make it out of the dealership lot without breaking down and having a tire roll off in the middle of the freeway. This is towards the extreme of which the most reliable thing. These are some of the most reliable Volvos ever made. That V8 was rock solid. This thing drives like a sports car. Now, a lot of people, because this is the way our cars are conditioned now, right? They only have a V8 because, it's a pop number, right? They get to put the V8 on the trunk, right? They get to sell you the car. When actually it makes similar power to the V6. This thing is so powerful, it feels like you're driving a sports car when actually you're lugging around this huge thing. And this also is more truck-like than any of the others. It has a split-in tailgate, which is really nice because you get the best of both worlds, right? You have something to sit on where your knees aren't being chopped off by the obnoxious bumper, and you have cover from the rain by the top bit. If you need to tailgate, this thing will be great. And also, they're so affordable and cheap, you can probably afford these into high school, right? They also have navigation screens. They stink. They're really terrible, and they fade out over time, and the motors die in them. That's really the only thing that's bad about these, but also, if you're buying a car this old, this is a 2008, I don't think you're really looking for the technology, right, in a car like this. And you've also just clicked on a video about the most reliable off-roaders. I never said it was going to be new, right? Other than that, car is great. Infotainment system in the rear, which I was very surprised to see, right? I always thought that, Volvo was kind of late. They were a luxury car company, but they were always kind of late to the trends like Honda and Toyota and Lexus have been. So to see a rear infotainment system, I didn't even know that these could be optioned with these. It's just very interesting. $7,000, they will last you forever. 91,000 miles. I mean, that being a testament, right? Usually when a car reaches 91,000 miles, think your Hyundai Elantra, if it even can make it that long, it's thrown away. It ends up in a junkyard, it ends up in a pile of crap, and yet this thing is being listed for $7,000 dues, a 16-year-old car being listed for $17,000 dues with 91,000 miles, right? If they didn't think that this car could sell, They would put it in a junkyard. And yet, look at it's the small minor details. Now, yes, you can clean things up, you can shine things, but if you get permanent damage on an alloy wheel and it's a 16-year-old car, you're not going to replace that wheel, right? And you can just see these wheels are immaculate. And I don't think it's just because the person who drove them was super, caring about their car, considering the state of the driver's seat, right? So yeah, it just speaks to the reliability and usability of these older Volvos, especially with the V8s. The 4Runner. How could I not make a reliable off-roader video and not put the 4Runner in here? The 4Runner, this is my favorite generation, is one of the best cars you can ever buy. This is the V8 4Runner, bulletproof. Seriously bulletproof. I could pull out like an AK, shoot it directly into the engine block, and it would still keep running. Probably. But yeah, not literally bulletproof, but as close as you can damn near get, right? Fog lights. Everything in this car will work, right? Other car companies, they put stupid shit in their cars that breaks within 10 years, and then, it's a car that once had power sliding doors, that once had interior dome lights, and then had an electrical issue and it killed all those features like that. These cars don't have that. I'm sure every single switch and button in this car still works, because Toyota's wiring, Kia, how they wire things, I've seen, images, awful, disgraceful images of them soldering connections together because they couldn't find a wiring nut, or at least that's what it said. Honda and Toyota would never ever dream of that. Look at the leather. This car is a 2007, which means it is 17 years old. It's almost as old as I am, and I am driving, right? And see, look, the leather is in perfect condition. The wood is in perfect condition. And like I said, with these older cars, let's say it's a 2016 Honda CR-V, and one of the door panels is completely kicked in. The Honda of Naples, Florida, or whatever, would probably replace that door with the hopes of selling it. They don't do that on these older cars, and yet you can see what great condition they're in. This one even has navigation. Now, when I say this one even has navigation with that excited voice, I don't mean this one has navigation, you should probably replace it anyway. I mean these are perfectly good. They die. I'm just going to say that right off the bat. They die a lot. These have been known to just randomly, tweak out and go and fry themselves. So they're really great. Like the touch things, from what I've seen, these work forever. My friend Sienna, that thing still works to this day. They've never replaced it. It pairs with everything. It's great. Yeah, but some of them, like on the older Avalons, they just go, they tweak out and they die. They also fold down for the DVD load thing, which also breaks. They're very finicky, but they've gotten voice navigation, so yeah. In the back, you can see just how much room and space there are. The 4Runner is such an amazing car because it's so long, and you'll notice when you see one of these in real life, you're gonna be like, wow, that's a long wheelbase. It's so that you can climb up rocks, right, without feeling the extent and length of this huge car. And it doesn't have any seats in the back, because which would you rather have? A third row of seating for your family, just buy a Sienna, or fitting 3 spare tires in the back? I'd vote for the 3 spare tires, right, on top of the one that's already underneath the car. Great, amazing, perfect car. The next car is the Lexus GX. The GX does not get enough love. The GX is a mini Land Cruiser, but better, because it's shorter, right? Now, a lot of people, these bigger, huge off-roaders, they say that these are the best, right? Like the 4Runner. But actually, this is slightly better at off-roading. Well, again, the other ones, the bigger cars, have features to make up for that, so they end up evening about the same. But this is so much shorter, better approach and decline angles, right? It doesn't matter if your bumper is all the way up here, like that was your thing. If it extends like a Oldsmobile Custom Cruiser, 5 feet behind the rear wheel, there's no way in hell you're ever getting up a rock. And that's what you'll notice about the 4Runner. Even with that extended wheelbase, remember, these are kings at off-roading, right? Still got a little bit of junk in the trunk there, extending out past the rear wheel, right? That's why so many people love these, because they've essentially got zero junk. See, look at that. There's barely anything hanging off that rear wheel. In fact, I'm sure you could cut that off and it wouldn't affect cargo space at all, right? These are essentially that, but bigger, right? You can see barely anything hanging off the back there. Great cars. They're so tall and stubby, which really leads you to feel kind of like you're in a terrarium. It's not a nice feeling, but it is a feeling. And the rest of the interior, you've got leather, you've got speakers, you know it will be safe, right? And you've even got Lexus technology. Lexus came in 1989, which means they were right at the peak of the Subaru weirdness with the Technicolor gauge clusters and experimental technology. So they had a lot of this crap on their cars, and I adore it, right? You've got your temperature in whatever measurement this is supposed to be. You've got your rear cool, which you press on, press off, and then you've got your fan in this wonderful 90s fashion. This is a 2008, right? It's 16 years old, but it's not that old, right? If this thing's old, then I'm ancient history, right? And I'm only 19. Remember, great car, fantastic. You still get the voice navigation display. These tend to cack out a little bit more. From what I've seen, these navigation systems are much better than these. These, they don't tweak out as much, but they just slowly, this is kind of the difference between Toyota and Lexus, right? The Toyota one cacks out immediately. It has its own little mini freak out, go beep, and then it doesn't respond to touch or it doesn't do anything anymore, and then you have to replace it. These last forever, but slowly things go away on them, Like it'll last 100 years, but by the 100th year, it won't take audio input anymore, and it only plays Dancing Queen. You know what I mean? They slowly over time, less and less portions of the touchscreen start to work as it really just turns into sand and starts blowing over seriously, they last forever. Unfortunately, this car has essentially been around forever, or so what I'm told. There's so much this pull in the used car industry to only buy like a 2-year-old used car. They're scamming you. Buy an old one like this, right? $15,000. Come on, it'll last you forever. Another V8 engine, 4.7 liter. These last forever. And the last car on this list, remember, Honda Element. There's so many other cars. There's so many cars I can put on this list, right? And yet I tried to choose the most crucial. It's a Land Cruiser. Did you really think I was going to make a video of the most reliable off-roaders without putting the most reliable off-roader? It's a Land Cruiser. That's it. I don't have to say anything more. It's got a V8, for Christ's sake. It's got a split tailgate, and it's got ridiculous Toyota RAV4 rims on them. Seriously, who let this car out of the factory with Toyota RAV4 rims? Other than that, again, this is the base model. Standard, what do you expect? Great car, zero rust, looks fantastic. This is a 2008. Again, a 16-year-old car. This car could drive itself. Can you believe that? JBL synthesis audio system. Again, these last forever. These have more than Lexus reliability, right? In my opinion, it goes Scion, Subaru, Toyota, Lexus, Land Cruiser. Land Cruiser is almost its own brand. They are so ridiculously overbuilt and over-engineered and over-reliable, right? Like I said, we live in an extremely over-engineered, under-reliable, society. This is the opposite of that. It's over-engineered and over-reliable. It's both. It's the best of both worlds. That is, if you can afford the huge price tag, $19,000 for 2008. That's pretty similar to the other ones until you realize that it's got 273,000 miles. That's what I have to say. That's why this is, should be around down here. Seriously, I feel like Cars.com seriously doesn't know the price of cars. This is a freaking Land Cruiser, okay? This isn't some sort of Honda, Pilot or whatever. Those 273,000 miles, it's getting started. That's a quarter of what this car can drive. Amazing. Like I said, you're going to find a lot of high mileage ones out there. If you find a high mileage version of a car when you're looking for it, that's what you want, because you know it's going to last a long time. I guarantee if you give this thing oil changes and air filters and, the occasional replacement part, it will actually last forever. I seriously believe if this thing was driven daily, this thing could last until 3024. It could last that long if you just maintained it. So, yeah, with that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And yes, there are other cars that could be in this list. There are so many other cars that could be on this list. But I tried to choose the main guys, right?